if you aren't paying for drinks, the conversation could at least be better than you look good. I mean, I knew that when I left the house. Not even on no cocking dust, but like, okay, like you're not bringing conversation, you're not bringing money, like you're just not bringing anything to the interaction, and so it's like, why would I want to interact with you again?
Thank you for tuning in to Sip on This with A Paris. About to get lit with these topics. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for the love and your time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, I bring to you this for you to sip on too.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sip on This. We're gonna jump right into it. We actually have a very special guest on today's episode. Not only is this my cousin, she's actually new to the show.
Yes.
After being a viewer for a whole season.
Yes. It's kind of embarrassing, but you know, we move.
But for those that do not know, this is my good sis, well, technically again, cousin, Madison, aka Maddie. I'd never call you Madison.
Yeah.
But we're actually going to jump right into it, sis, because something that I want to do with you or whatever, well, with all the guests this season is an icebreaker moment.
Okay.
So something that I meant to incorporate last season that I kept forgetting to incorporate was you can't have a show called Sip on This without knowing what people are sipping on these days. Sure. So although I already know what you're about to say, what is it that you're sipping on these days?
I am sipping on tequila. He knows. That's what we have in these cups. My go-to drink lately has been tequila soda.
I forgot you'd be on that.
Heavy on tequila, low on calories. So, you know, we rock with it.
I thought you was about to say low on the soda. I was about to be weak. But
that too. That too.
Which, that's an acquired taste. I'm sorry. You had me try that for my birthday, and I was like, I can't get with this. I cannot.
But it's definitely, again, it depends on who's making it.
Yeah.
I've had it be like a little more soda, a little less tequila. I've had it be a little more tequila, a little less soda.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I can't speak for everybody's bank account, but when I'm buying drinks, I like a little more tequila, a little less soda, so I can be a one drink shotty. Because men, especially in Raleigh, I don't know if their bank accounts have changed. This pandemic done hit hard or what, but
here we go.
It does so little. It does so little, and I'm not one to typically like go up to a bar and like pay for myself. Like I be, pulling out my card, and then the bartender takes it. I'm like, that's crazy.
So you know what? Let's hop right into.
I ruined the icebreaker.
No, we're gonna hop right into the first thing that my sister's touching on. So a lot of my family is actually from out of state. They slowly but surely been moving in state, and when people get here, they be like, "What is this? I'm not used to this type of lifestyle." So my good sis is from Atlanta, and so my sis. What actually made me bring her onto the show is the fact that I actually want to extend our conversation. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when we tried to go to Chili's and they was closed at 8 o'clock?
Yes.
PM for those that don't. They were closed in the PM of 8.
8 p.m.
At prime dinner time, they were closed.
Yeah.
But we ended up having to jump next door over to Applebee's. And while we were in Applebee's, we somehow started talking about the conversation of, do people deserve what it is that they ask for? Whether it's in relationships, whether it's things regarding your careers, whatever the case may be, right? But before we dive all the way into that, my sis has not been feeling the way that I guess Raleigh has been in comparison to Atlanta.
Yes. In
terms of when you go out, the fellas really just be trying to kiki and whisper sweet nothings in your ear, but not pay for, not sponsor.
Which honestly, I know, like, okay, so sponsorship is a big thing, but it's not even necessarily the sponsorship aspect for me. Like, we're going out, or I'm out, I'm kicking it, and you're trying to get me to go out with you again, but you're not even doing anything in this moment to really make me want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, if you aren't paying for drinks, the conversation could at least be better than you look good. I mean, I knew that when I left the house. Not even on no cocking dust, but like, okay, like you're not bringing conversation, you're not bringing money, like you're just not bringing anything to the interaction, and so it's like, why would I want to interact with you again? So they'll leave like a half-assed conversation to be like, oh yeah, let me get your number. Why?
Yeah.
We're not gonna communicate past this.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy this interaction and I'm drunk. You think sober I'm gonna be like, come on now. So that's my thing. It's not even necessarily the money aspect, but it's like you're not attempting to bring anything to this interaction. But you want me to be like, oh yeah. Let's link again. Like, no. That's my thing. It's like, what are you here for? What are you trying to get out of this? Because you're not bringing anything to the table. And the reason I say typically buying drinks is the way to go about it is because who's having a conversation for real in the club? Like, we're out. I didn't really come out to converse. You know, I came out to drink and have a good time.
That part.
So you should be feeding me drinks and allowing me to have a good time if you want me to see you again. You know? So I'm like, it's about sponsorship because of the circumstance and situation. It can't really be a lot about conversation, but it's one or the other. And these men are coming up with none of them.
Right.
Like, they coming up with zero.
Right.
And I'm like,
it's giving.
And you want my number? Because I'm not one to waste people's time. I really hate when my time gets wasted, so I don't waste other people's time. If I'm not going to hit you up, I'm not giving you my number.
That part.
So, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And guys may find that cool, but I'm like, I'm saving you time and energy.
Yeah.
Because all you was going to do was be texting, and your messages were never going to deliver because I blocked you after that first one. Oh, your dude from last night that blocked.
I'm so weak.
But
you guys, this is why I brought my good sis on. Like,
he wanted to talk about it, so we talking about it. Let's go.
So this kind of ties into, again, what one of the main topics that I wanted to drive in today's episode or whatever, where do people deserve what it is they ask for, right? And so where we start, I think what we actually started talking about first, it may have still been relationships or it may have been career. One way we started one way and ended on the other topic. Yeah. But so, sis, I'm trying to remember what scenario we initially started on that even got us talking about this, because we were talking about it so passionately that
it had to have been relationships.
That's what I think.
Because I feel like
too.
we kind of started in the same way we just started, where it was like, okay, what are you bringing to the table when it comes to the bar? But then also, a lot of people want to be in relationships and aren't bringing relationship things to the table. So it's like, people are making up all these things that they want. Like, okay, we when we got to God fearing, we couldn't stop, right? I want a God fearing man. Most people do, right? We all fall under this. A lot of people fall under this realm of Christianity, but because Christianity is about like sinning but being forgiven and things like that, we tend to just stick with the sinning path, right? So it's like, I know that I can sin and the Lord will forgive me, so that's what I do. That's how I move, right? And so in that sense, it's like, oh, I want to be with a God-fearing man. Okay, cool. What are you doing, though, that's going to bring a God-fearing man into your life? You know what I'm saying? I want a God-fearing man, but I only go to the club on Saturday nights, and then I be too tired to go to church on Sunday.
Right.
Which club you finding this God-fearing man? I'm curious. And that's not to say that God-fearing men don't go out, they don't have a good time, but at the same time, it's like, you're looking at all the wrong places.
Right.
You know, and then you're also even stepping outside of that. It's like, okay, so I want this God-fearing man, but I'm not a God-fearing woman. God-fearing men want to be with God-fearing women. So if you're not doing your half,
right,
you can't even be in the presence of someone who's doing their part. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. It's like, what are we bringing to the table that is going to bring about all these great things?
Right.
I want a person that's this. I want a man that's this. I want a man to be fit, but I don't go to the gym.
That part.
Where are you finding this fit man at? Like, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
My sis is saying the math is not mathing. That's legit how we got on the topic. We was like, yeah, because in our generation, this about to strike a nerve. What our generation is known for is feeling entitled. You feel entitled to certain jobs, certain different types of people in relationships, because it's like, this is what I want, but to the point that you're driving is, but what are you doing to receive these sorts of blessings, right?
Because the blessings are out there.
It's
God-fearing men out there. It's men who work out there. Like, all of these things are possible, right? You can have the things that your heart desires, but what are you actually doing to bring those things about, right? It's like me saying, I want a new job. Like, there's a certain career that I really want. I'm really passionate about it, but I get home from the job I have now and I do nothing to find a new one.
Right.
Why do you think a new job is just going to fall into your lap?
Like this.
How? And then even as a praying woman, even as a person of faith, it's like, okay, I believe that God is going to bring these things into my life. But the Bible says, okay, faith without works is dead. It's not just going to come to you, love. It just isn't, So that's the thing. It's like we have become so spoiled in the sense of a lot of the things our parents have gone through and dealt with, we no longer have to face.
Right.
Like we were just saying, we're in a place where both of us, me starting next week, will be like living on our own.
Yeah.
No relationship, just vibes. Just living. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, think about the blessing in that.
Right.
We come from, people where it's like without a relationship, I couldn't have afforded a home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the thing, the fact that we're able to live this way and be this spoiled, yet still expect, okay, but why isn't this happening for me?
Yeah.
Why isn't that happening for me?
Yeah.
Why is it happening for this person but not me?
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
And it's like the difference is really, are you going to put in the work or are you not?
That part.
Are you going to bring your part to the table or are you not?
Right.
Because I'm like, things don't fall in anyone's lap.
Right.
That I have convinced myself of.
Yeah.
There are people who are blessed.
Yeah.
And you can be blessed and the Lord will rain blessings down, but you're doing something to bring those as well.
Yeah.
It's not stuff is just being given to you.
Yeah.
That's not really how things work. And if you read your Bible, you know that the Lord don't even say that's how things work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even when it comes to like praying for things like praying for exams or praying for new jobs and new opportunities, you have to pray in a sense where it's like, Lord, bless me to use the knowledge that I have learned to the best of my abilities on this exam.
Right.
Not, Lord, tell me whether the answer is A, B, C, or D. Like, he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who sat there on the test and was like, yeah, I picked D because the Lord told me. Y'all not that tapped in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very unlikely you're that tapped in to the point where he said D, you heard D clear as day, and that's why you picked it, you got a 100. Like, I'm just...
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like there's spirituality, but it just kind of pushes you to being your full potential.
Yeah.
You bring a certain level regardless, whether it be 50-50 or not. Like, you have to bring your 50%.
Yeah.
Or if the Lord brings his 50, you're at 50%.
Right.
In any school that's failing, love. Like, you're not going to be able to just solely rely on that.
Yeah.
But he's going to bring his 50 every time.
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
And
so it's like, what are you bringing?
I think something else that like you're touching on too, it's like, well, one thing that I just want to add is the fact that a lot of people start losing faith when they don't get certain things that they ask for. And to the point that she keeps touching on, it's like they're not understanding, they're not meeting God with their 50%. They're coming with 15. 10 really, I just gave you a really graceful 5.
And giving 60% and like, why is this not happening for me? You
like,
know what I'm saying?
God, I did X, Y, and Z, and it's like, well, that's crazy because that doesn't, you're down here and I'm giving you this.
Yes.
The math is still not math.
Exactly, because he's still going to give you more than what you're worth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, sis.
Still going to give more than what you're worth.
I was about to say, somebody in the back, that hit them here.
It hit them differently.
Yeah, definitely hit different.
He's going to give you more than what you're worth. So when you think about that and you think about what he has given you, it's like, wow. And we were talking about this too. I was like, regardless of everything that has happened in my world and in my life, like everyone goes through something, right? And there are plenty of people that don't seem like they've gone through anything yet, but if you stay on this earth and you live long enough, you will go through something.
Right.
It may be different than what I have gone through and different things like that, but it's going to always be something.
Right.
And so it's like thinking about the blessings that I have received in the place that I am at. It's like, wow, what would really happen if I brought the Lord my 50?
Yeah.
Like how awesome would it be for things to truly shake in the way that I needed to if I brought my 50? Because things are really looking good and I'm bringing 10.
I mean,
and you can really become satisfied with that 10, and that's understandable. Things can look incredible for you operating at 60%.
Yeah.
But being a person that just wonders and thinks, it's like, yo, what if I brought 40.
Yeah.
What if because we still don't even have to bring that whole 50.
Yeah.
What if I brought 40 and was operating on 90%?
Right.
Think of the come up from 60% to 90%.
Yes.
We ain't even talking about 100. We haven't even reached the ceiling.
Right.
We just talking about going from 60 to 90.
Right.
And so it's like, wow. 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 And that's when it comes to spirituality. But let's bring it back. Let's draw it back to relationship. What if I bring the 50% I'm supposed to bring to a relationship?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What if I, being someone who wants a man that works out daily, go to the gym? Think about it. What if I, as someone who wants a fit man, goes to the gym?
Or somebody that wants a God-fearing person, go to church. Pay your tithes. Which, by the way,
we all fall short when it comes to man and tithes, bro. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm better than because I'm not.
That's literally what I was about to say.
That's the disclaimer right there.
Yeah, the stuff that we're saying, we already know we're at 10s and 15s.
Okay.
We're acknowledging that of ourselves. But speaking of that, it's a lot of people that feel so entitled and feel as though they're doing way much more and giving themselves too much credit for what they're not doing. Still expecting so many blessings to be rained upon them. If I really
broke it down, if the Lord was really looking in my face right now and was like, how much you bringing, Madison? It would be 5%. I'm not gonna lie.
Who here? I was literally like 5. It's 5 for me.
It's really 5. We want to stretch it to 10, 15, but it's really 5. If you look me dead in my face, 5%. But I know I'm capable of being better. I could be better, right? So again, it's like, what are you willing to tap into to get the things that you want? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't sit here operating at 5% and complain about the things that I have. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you operate at 5% and you rocking with, do that. Yeah. But don't operate at 5% and complain about what the Lord is or is not bringing. Right. Because He's bringing it every time. That's what we're not going to be able to deny.
And then something else. This is probably going to trigger quite a few people too. Something that I find interesting, I'm actually tired of so many, this is for guys and girls, talking about not being able to find the right person. But they've done experienced so many people in this bit of time or whatever, and they're like I hear more women say this than guys, of course. A lot of women are like, oh, men ain't shit. But these be the same women that pray to God, be like, send me a good man or give me a sign. That's everyone's favorite statement. Give me a sign. Show me a red flag of some sort that I need to stop dealing with such and such, right? God give you all these signs.
He's going to give you the signs.
He's going to give you signs. And then a lot of times God will see you through something and then make it a test. And a lot of people fail the test every time.
You know how bad I am, though? Bruh, I'm so bad that I've gotten to the point where I know He's going to give me the signs, so I don't even ask for it no more.
Listen, that be the one.
I just be moving because I be like, honestly, Lord, the last time you gave me a sign, it showed up a little too clear for me. And I knew that I needed to drop him, but I didn't want to. So then it was like,
At that point, whose fault is it? If you're going to continue dealing with it. So
now I'm willy-nilly looking crazy. So rather than do that, I just be looking crazy and act like I don't know. Look, just be walking in the dark. Because if you ask the Lord to light up the room, He's going to light up the room. And then when you see the lit room, you be like, oh, you really did do that, didn't you? Yeah. I asked for it, didn't I? Yeah. So next time, I'm not even going to ask. I'm just gonna move. You know what I'm saying? Again, but that just goes to show like, I am not a perfect person either. Yeah. However, and none of us are supposed to be. Right. But we know how to be better than what we are right now. Right. Let's be real. I'm not going to lie to you on that. Right. I know I can be better and can bring more than what I'm bringing now. But be the same way you're realistic when it comes to what you're bringing and not bringing in your religion. Be the same way when it comes to your relationship. That part. Like be real with yourself. Right. Am I the type of person, being someone who eats fast food every day, really don't care what my diet is, really don't care to work out? Am I the type of person who deserves a fit man? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, my natural thinking is a fit man gonna want a fit woman. So what are you doing to be the person that you're anticipating coming? Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because again, relationships, people love to say relationships are 50-50. And they be bringing 10% to the table. Or really, they be like us, bringing 5% to the table.
5%.
I just don't understand why He's not bringing 95. he can't love. That's not how that works. He can't.
And even if someone can, do you really think someone bringing 95% is gonna stay in a situation?
With somebody bringing 5. I just
like that's dumb. That's like, okay, bringing career into it. That's like, you got this person over here offering you this salary. They offering you $70K, but this person over here is giving you $100K. And you feel like you're putting in enough work to get the $100K, but you settle for the 70. That doesn't make sense.
You wouldn't do that.
You're not going to do that. So why would you do that in a relationship?
Okay, because at the end of the day, this is what I'm going to tell you for real. I'm going to keep it a buck man 50. Those women that have those men that are all of these things, check off all of these boxes, bro, they're checking off those boxes as well.
Yeah.
Period. You would have to be.
Yeah.
I have a man who's God-fearing, who works out, who does all of these things, makes all this money, yada, 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 but I'm bringing 10% to the table. That man is going to find someone else. Let's just be real, right? It's still competitive out here. It's many women who want a man like that. So if you have one like that, you have to bring what you claim you're going to bring to the table. Like you have to be doing something to keep that man, because it's someone that everybody else wants.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, again, going back to like the club scene, when I go out and I bring myself to a table, it's like, I know what I'm worth. I know what my conversations are like. I know the type of person I am, the type of person I will be, the woman I'm becoming, the woman I was, how far I've come. Like, I know all of these things about myself. So for someone to really attract my attention or get my attention, it's like, I'm seeing what you're bringing off rip. First impressions are everything.
Right.
So it's like, what's that first impression?
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm like, because we can have a good time. It's really not, I'm not going to, be mean or anything. We out. It's a good time. Yeah. But I'm not going to call you tomorrow. When you ask to link up, I'm going to say no. Like, that's the thing. So be 100 with yourself, be real with yourself, and be like, maybe the reason I'm not attracting these type of men is because I'm not that type of woman.
So literally what you said dives right into the point that I was about to say to people. I touched on it a little bit, but to come flat out and say what it was I was getting at earlier was people aren't honest with themselves. They can't look at themselves in the mirror and just say, you know what, I may not be shit because I'm not hitting on X, Y, and Z, yet I'm looking for X, Y, and Z from the opposite person. And that, again, the math is not mathing. Like, you cannot expect all of this to be brought to you and you're not coming out with the same, I don't know. And honestly, a lot of this is probably, I know it's easier said than done.
Always. Because we sit here as two single people telling y'all what to do in a relationship. Two single people.
And I know, my people tell me all the time, you're picky because of X, Y, and Z. But I feel like the things I'm picky about, I have a right to be picky about because it's the things that I know I'm actually bringing.
Exactly. It's the things that I expect in another person, I know I have in myself.
Right.
Otherwise, I wouldn't expect them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. It's like, I know for me, I am one who enjoys deep conversation. We got right into it. We started the podcast off spirituality and God. What are you doing with your, like, how are you being a true Christian, right? And so I'm like, for me, that's very important. Now, granted, I know, you know, we're not going to walk a perfect life. Right. So that you can go ahead and cancel that off with. But that's not to say I don't know what being close to God looks like.
Right. That part.
I don't know the path it takes to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because equally yoked, that's in the Bible. Yeah. That's a real thing. But y'all not equally yoked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and if both of y'all sinning and grinning, y'all might be able to work that out.
Right.
I don't know.
Find God together.
Find God together. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see someone who has found God and found himself being with someone who is lost and don't know what they have going on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it's like, I kind of find myself more days out of the week being kind of not lost, but like not ready for a relationship. Yeah. So when I go out, I don't play games. I don't act like I'm ready for a relationship and they'll be like, oh, it came. So let me curve them now. Like, no, I'm straight up about that. Yeah. I have so much that I'm dealing with and going through and seeking different things for myself that is like another person being in the picture kind of doesn't really make sense. You know, it's like I'm working through X, Y, and Z and it's really something I have to work through by myself. Right. You know, it's something I know that I was meant to walk by myself in. And then when I come out on the other side, of course, we could join forces and go from there. Right. Right. But people don't really. And the thing is, you'll have that feeling. You'll be like, I kind of feel like I'm supposed to be in a single season.
Yeah.
Right? You'll have that feeling, but there's plenty of people out there.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people that will be willing to be with you while you're supposed to be in a single season.
Yes.
Trying to make it work and this, that, and the third. Like, so that's not to say just because you know you're supposed to be in a single season, you will be. It's like
you have just had so much just then that I want to tap into, because for one, I was about to tap into the fact that a lot of people are afraid to be single. A lot of people don't understand it's a lot of things they need to work through in order to like better themselves for the next person coming in, because a lot of people bring in baggage into their next situation or whatever, and then again wonder why stuff isn't panning out like the way they envisioned it to, right?
Exactly.
And it's all because they never battled faced their demons as they are supposed to, or I don't want to say no, you're supposed to. I was about to say, well, shit, you're supposed to.
You're
not handling your issues as you should. Instead, you're taking on all this baggage, bringing it to the next person. And I feel like a lot of people feel as though, you know, this person supposedly likes me. They should be able to deal with my baggage that I come with. And like, yes, to an extent, but just because we're trying to build something doesn't mean that I have to take on so much shit that you're bringing that I'm not capable to help you through, because
and some things are meant to be fought between you and God. Some battles literally are fought on your knees. Like where it's like I'm working through it. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm putting the work in. Because think about it, like even with my situation. So the reason I say I'm not in a season to be dating right now is because it seems recently, but you know, the pandemic has messed up a lot of things. It's fairly recent. So in the beginning of 2020, I lost my father, right? And granted, you know, like we kind of knew, but you know, anyone who's lost someone knows, whether you know, whether you didn't know, whether it came as a surprise, didn't come as a surprise, it's hard to deal with,
right?
Period. And so in that sense, it's kind of like, dang, with the pandemic, I really haven't had to deal with my loss in a public setting, or had to deal with what I'm going through in a crowd of people. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I feel like the pandemic in a lot of ways kind of made me have to face things that I otherwise probably wouldn't have faced had the world kept right on going.
Right.
Because had the world kept right on going, I was going to keep right on going with it.
Right.
And then years from now be like, oh my God, like this actually happened to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there are certain things, it's like a person coming into my life, there's nothing they can really do to fix that part. You know, you can't bring them back. So it's like, how much can you really contribute in me dealing with that loss?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Again, there are certain things, certain battles you're meant to face on your own.
Right.
And certain hurt and the things from your past that you're supposed to deal with and handle before you get into a relationship.
Right.
And a lot of these things are obvious.
Right.
They are.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, me and my ex, we had a really, you know, bad relationship, yada, yada, yada. We argued all the time. It was really toxic, whatever, you know, but we would fix a lot of our problems with sex.
Right.
Right. And so, and then you jump into a new relationship and you still having sex. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you what to do within your household, in your bedroom, whatever, but sometimes the signs be real clear.
Right.
You know, it's like maybe going into this next one, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
try something different.
You know, because a lot of times we're very quick to blame the other person in a breakup or in something not working out, because that's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think that in anything, it's kind of 50-50, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it wasn't solely on that person.
Yeah.
And if it was solely on that person, it's kind of like, sis, well, why didn't you break up with
I
them?
literally was just about to say that gets back to the point
Why they
that
break up with you when
they
you didn't
have,
break up with them?
what people need to realize too, that person has their own mind that they're capable of thinking for themselves. You have the same gift, right? You have the same abilities as that person. So if that person is continuously showing you time and time again, I'm not going to be shit for you, sis, or I'm not going to be shit for you, bro. Why are you staying with that person when they're at, and like I'm somebody that, like, a lot of people take the words that you say and run with it. I'm a person of action. Like, if what you're doing isn't, again, the math is not mathing. If what you're saying and doing does not match, I'm good on you.
Yeah.
Cause like, why, you're not gonna whisper all these sweet nothings in my ear thinking you're gonna finesse me into like really what you're doing is like manipulating that person into staying with you.
Yes.
And it's like you're doing that because you know you're not shit.
Exactly.
You know what you're bringing to the table.
Because think about it. A toxic person, bro. A toxic person will say, I'm going to fix X, Y, and Z, right? And it's all the things that you know they need to fix. So in that sense, it's like...
It's all the things they know they need to fix.
You are aware of this. You have created self-awareness and you're still not fixing those things.
Nope.
So what that tells me is you simply don't want to,
that
right?
Part.
And so with that being the case, it's like if you don't want to fix these things, knowing that it would make our relationship better, make us work, why would I stay with you? You know what I'm saying? But we've kind of, especially again, when it comes to this pandemic, a lot of people have begun settling because they don't want to end up by themselves. Now, me personally, I have a great relationship with myself. Me and myself, we have a great time. I'm not gonna hold you. So if it ended up just being me in this world, we'd be good. I promise you.
I feel like, but what's crazy, I agree with everything you just said, but then it's how do I put this in a word? Words. It's almost like that's kind of doing you a disservice too. Yeah. Like even this is really like speaking from myself too, because I've been single for a while and I'm almost too comfortable by myself.
That's true.
It's kind of like, because a lot of people from the outside looking in, because of course in my family and friend group, I'm one of the only single people, and I'm a little older than my cousin here. So it's like, you know, in society, people put age caps on a lot of things that they feel like should be expected at certain ages. Like you should have kids by a certain age, and if not, what's wrong with you? You should be married by a certain age. If not, what's wrong with you? Same thing with living on your own and like all sorts of things like that. And when it comes to you being single, like think about how people think towards people that are single and like 40 years old and never been married, never had any kids. Society as a whole looks at that person as a failure. And it's like, why is that person a failure? Just because they're single? Maybe they just simply didn't want.
But I think that at the same time, when it comes to that, again, with society, I feel like society has kind of taken on a toxic role. Let's be real. It's like, again, in the sense of like, okay, so like you said, there are timelines on things, right? So I have mentioned before that I may or may not want to have kids. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to that stage yet. I'm definitely having kids tomorrow, so it really don't matter. But if I found a soulmate, I feel like that's when that conversation kind of becomes appropriate. You know, when I meet my match, when I meet someone where it's like I would love to have a little person just like you running around, then we can have that conversation. But until then, with these men I see out here, I don't want no kids. Like, come on now. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I personally know a lot of people that have kids and probably shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for society to play this role that they shouldn't be playing, it's like, oh yeah, like how selfish is it for you to not want to have kids and this, that, and the third? And what they don't address is the fact that for a lot of people, the selfless act is to not have children. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have a career where I work 24/7 and wouldn't be able to take care of a kid. But because society told me I should have them, I have 3 kids being raised by a nanny, and really I be forgetting their first and middle names. You know what I'm saying? I never see them. I'm like, and then those kids grow up to be a menace to society because they don't like their childhood, or they don't like people that they come from, or they don't have the relationships and the love they should have had within their homes. And so it's like, in that sense, doesn't that make society worse instead of better? Right. Isn't it better for people to be real with themselves and say, hey, with the career that I have, with the life that I've created, I don't need to have kids because I'm not going to pour into them what I know I need to as a parent. Right. So I'm taking a step back and decide I'm not having them. Isn't that the more mature thing to do? Isn't that the more selfless thing to do? I'm like, so when society speaks, I don't listen. I don't listen, because at the end of the day, it's like what I have learned in my dad passing is that life is too short to move and shake how other people want you to move and shake. You can do that, you know, but you hear once. From what we are aware of, you hear once. I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, I've been here before. I've never heard that from somebody unless they were, you know, doing drugs and stuff. But, but you know, I mean, from my understanding, we're here once. So do what you want to do. Don't let society say and put things on you, because at the end of the day, that's not going to make your life happy and wholesome. Or forcing yourself into a relationship because of these timelines. So now you're in a marriage that you hate with kids that you don't really like. because they told you to do it.
Right.
And then when you look, it's like, who is they?
Right. Yo.
You can't even point out who the they is.
Yeah.
It's like this foreign being that we can't put a name to, or we can't really put like
a face or anything,
you know, like
to,
any of that. It's like, it's just they, like everyone else. And it's like, but no one really told you to do that.
Yeah.
Like you decided you needed to do that because of what it looked like everyone else was doing.
Right.
And I'm like, I love the fact that I'm now seeing people who are out here and are like, yeah, we decided we didn't want to have kids because we enjoy each other's company. We enjoy what we do for a living. We love our careers and we are content without kids. There are kids in our life, you know, our siblings have kids or we have nieces and nephews, whatever, and we really enjoy being able to be there for them for important moments. But also if we miss out, it's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. So I'm not wanting to say off rip, yeah, I know for a fact I'm guaranteed to have kids or I'm very pressed to have kids. There are plenty of people who want to be mothers. Like, they're really motherly and they've always wanted to have kids and things like that. I can say that I'm not that person. That's not to say that I won't eventually be somebody's mom out here, you know, one day. But like I said, I think that it just, the way it's going to unfold for me will just be different. It will unfold through looking at someone and being like, you truly complete me, and in completing me, let's create a life together. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because that comes first. You know, a kid coming from something that's not love is strange to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go that route. So for me, there is a timeline on certain things, but I haven't put an age to the timeline. My timeline is love first, kid next. Right? Marriage first, kid next. Now, what it looks like for everyone else is, you know, from each person is going to be different. But for me, it's like, no, a kid without love. Now I'm a toxic mom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
something I wanted to touch on that you kind of touched on just a little bit is the fact that when we're talking about these these timelines that society has put in place or whatever, I feel like our generation is kind of stemming away from that because truly. Like we're like think about the ages that we are, and then think about what our parents were doing at our ages and what our grandparents were doing at our ages. It's different every generation. I feel like people are just, like you said, they're kind of knowing society is there saying X, Y, and Z, and they're just like, but this is my life and I'm the leader of myself. So I'm going to do what brings me happiness at the end of the day and not what whoever they is continuously says you should be doing. Exactly. And I feel like now, to tap into like the career stuff that you was touching on a little bit, it's like people are now having more legitimate reasons why they're postponing some of these essential things that are supposed to happen on a timeline. Like having kids, getting married, just settling down in general. And it's just like for me, that's another reason why certain people are like, oh, why are you single? I'm out here traveling. I'm out here literally living my best single life. I am the definition of, if single was a person and what you should do while you're single, it's me. And then it's mini-me. Because like, you know, like we graduated, got the degrees, and like we're literally doing, I just feel like I've accomplished so much, not even like trying to like just talk big of myself, but it's like seeing where our parents came from, our grandparents came from. You're literally living like your ancestors' dreams. Like, because at least for us, I can't speak for everybody else, but speaking for our families, we don't have too many family members that's traveled to a lot of places we've gone to and experienced. And so do I feel like I could have did that and had someone along with me? Potentially. But again, were you going to be bringing that 50 you were supposed to bring? Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, again, I feel like for me, it may take a while for a relationship to come, but I can promise you when it comes, it's going to be lit. It's going to be fruitful. That part. It's going to be all the things that I expect a relationship to be and a relationship is supposed to be. It's going to be the foundation of what a life with a partner should look like. I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. So knowing the season that I'm in, it's like, I'm not even going to pretend like I'm pursuing a relationship, looking for a relationship. None of those things. Now, the Lord is funny and he will lay things on your lap and you will just have to get it in gear. So if that were the case, I was just about to say,
if I end up in a relationship in a couple months, but again, those things are going to have to play out in a certain way.
Right. And like literally what you just said, I wanted to touch into too, because it's like something that I hope I haven't done. I don't believe I've done this yet is blocking your blessings. Like you're so focused on remaining single and being your best single person, living your best life. And it's like, who's to say God doesn't drop somebody in there that's like, well, let's see how this person impacts this person's life. Yeah. And you can't be so tunnel vision that you don't pick up on that sign like, And so, again, talking about myself, I'm like, I'm hoping for myself, I never passed up an opportunity like that. Yeah. But if I did, maybe it just, again, I believe in fate at the end of the day anyway. So it's like maybe, if you're meant for that person, like you said, you guys could still come out on the other end of each other's paths and meet back up, and you know, it's lit from there.
Yeah, so. And timing is everything.
Yeah.
This is the perfect person, whatever, but the timing ain't right. You can force it, but that timing gonna show itself.
Every time.
Every time. So it's like, in that sense, it's like, what do you believe in your faith for? For me, I believe that my path and my walk was written before I walked through it.
Me too.
The doors and stuff have already been opened. The doors in front of me are open. I just can't see them because it's dark. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't see them because I'm not supposed to. It's around the corner and I haven't turned that corner yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, for me, it's like, in walking in faith, I'm believing for the things that my heart truly desires, because the Lord has promised those things to us. And so in that sense, it's like, I don't worry about my husband or who my husband is going to be. I just pray on that.
Yeah.
Lord, you know what I need to complete me. Let that person still be out there. Or let me pray for that person right now, you know, and that they, you know, the timing is right and everything just works the way it's supposed to. Yeah. You know, so it's like, I'm praying more so that the Lord's will be done in everything. Yeah. Because if it's my will, I don't know. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't know how it would play out, because my expectation and what I want, this, that, and the third, is like, it's never typically what I need.
Yeah. That part. That part.
Isn't. I'm like, I've gotten so many things where it's like, yo, I wanted that so bad, and then I get it, and I'm like, this is what I want.
Oh my gosh, you hit me here, sis, because I got to touch on that real quick, because I've realized time and time again, I've prayed about certain stuff, and God has given it to me, and when I got it, I basically, when I got it, I'm like, dang, now that I got this, I don't know what to do with this. Yeah. And then, like, that's a lesson. That was a test in itself. God's like, oh, that's what you want? Here, let's see what you're going to do with it. And I'm like, God, I actually don't know what I make. It was too soon. And it's like, nah, you got what you asked for. That's what you want, now deal with it.
Exactly.
I've had that test happen so many times. And I'd be sitting there looking, what? Stupid. Yep. Not unprepared. Undeserving.
You know?
Undeserving.
And that's the thing. It's like, okay, getting something when you're unprepared for it, it doesn't even look like what it's supposed to look like. You'd be like, dang, this isn't even what I wanted. And little do you know, it is what you wanted. And it is what you could have had. The timing just wasn't right. Yeah. You're not the person you need to be to accept it. You're not the person you need to be for it. And so I'm like, and thinking like that, it's like, yeah, I can kind of slow things down because I know where I'm at. And that just takes being real with yourself. Yeah. Truly.
Circling back to knowing yourself and being real with yourself.
Exactly. We've all had those moments where it was like, dang, sis, I'm sitting here, I'm in somebody's toilet bowl. But I knew the shot that I didn't need to take. I know that I can recall the shot right now that I didn't need to take.
Yes, it's always like that. But
I was on vibes. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's kind of like that when you pray for certain things and you're not ready for it, you were on vibes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You were on vibes. And
it's funny now, but it's not funny when you're going through it.
It's not funny when you're going through it at all. But I'm like, now that it's here, it's like, ooh. Right. I was very unprepared for this. So it's like, in everything, just be suiting yourself up. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm in a single season. But that's not to say if something fell in my lap, I would reject it. Yeah. But I just told you what it needed to be. It needs to be a little bit more than, hey, you cute, let's go out next week. Yo, it's going to have to be a little bit more than that. That is going to get a rejection.
But listen.
And the Lord knows that too, so I know that's not how my husband's coming. I know that's not how my husband's
coming. But listen, everything you said is facts, but can we touch on the fact that, so me and you, we just know each other that, like, we're very vocal people. Yeah. We're very blunt. like straight to the point or whatever. So it baffles me when, like for us, I feel like we're the type of people, well, I can only speak for myself in my situationships. I'll tell somebody like, okay, like, I'm not looking for somebody. I'll tell you straight up, like, what it is I'm not looking for, what it is, like, I potentially will be looking for, all this stuff. But someone would take that as a challenge now. They'll be like, you know what? Although he says these things, I'm going to show him that actually I'm the person that, you know, I can change his mindset for this. And stuff like that aggravates me.
Yeah, and I think that kind of is a womanly trait. It's like and I think that kind of taps into our motherly instincts. You know what I'm saying? I think to bear a child and know that regardless of if that man is in your life or not, that's your child. It comes with a different set of like principles and mindset and different things like that. So I feel like, you know, we can have the nature versus nurture conversation, whatever. But I feel like there are certain natures that women have because we are childbearing, right? And so in that sense, it's kind of like we kind of take on this role of, yeah, he's saying that, but I can fix that. And honestly, it's one of those things where it's like we kind of have to go back and start to question ourselves where it's like, why do I feel like that's my job? You know what I'm saying? Why am I trying to take on this role? Yeah. You know, so that's a really big thing. It's like, I want this person, and so I'm willing to put up with a lot of mess to have this person. I know he's saying this and he's saying that, but I'm not trying to hear it. Yeah. And then when things don't end the way you plan for them to, you say you got played.
But you really played yourself.
And we don't want to talk. And I'm a victim to this.
I feel like everyone's been a victim to that at some point. We've all
been a victim to that at some point. But it's like, again, being real with yourself. And when a person is real with you, take what they're saying. Like, people not just talking to be... Well, no, people be talking just to be talking. But when it comes to where they're at mentally, when it comes to a relationship, let's be real. Yeah. I'm not looking for nothing real. So when you go out with your girls and you see your man's having dinner with somebody else, he told you he's looking for it to be real. So it's like, how now you don't ruin your girls' night off a situationship, and you knew it was a situationship.
You didn't ruin your whole night solely, and it was solely on you. Yeah, it was like you self-imploded on yourself.
Exactly.
Expecting too much from somebody that already told you, don't set your expectations up here.
Exactly.
Because I don't have any expectations. So why are yours so high?
Exactly. And that's the thing. And I feel like for me personally, it's one of those things where I'm not one to... Let me choose my words wisely. I want to say that I'm not one to fall quickly, but I can't say that's the case. But as someone whose love language is quality time, I know what quality time does to me. Yeah. Right? So someone who tells me like I'm not looking for something serious, okay, bet. Cool. I hear you on that. We are not going to spend a lot of quality time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, for me, that's what sets it off. Yeah. That's what makes it where it's like, yeah, he was saying this, but girl, we spend every night together. We talk every night. Like, it's this, that, and the third. But, so I know it's a relationship. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. You know, like, he had no reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the thing. It's like, again, be real with yourself. Yeah. Be real with, and once you know and really tap into, like, really, if you're single out there right now, if you don't take nothing else from this, take this moment to be like, wow, what are the great qualities I have within myself? You know, really, because when you tap in during that single season and figure out your worth, anyone who's coming less than what you're worth is going to be rejected. Yeah. Now you automatically, like, that's 90% of all men that's not even making the cut. You don't even have to worry about getting played by them because they didn't make the cut. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we don't know what we're worth, and so we're out here trying to find it in men. That's problem number one. Okay?
You just struck a nerve with somebody. I felt that.
Problem number two is the fact that it's like, because I don't know what I'm bringing to the table, I can't decipher whether what he's bringing to the table is enough or is not enough. You know what I'm saying? When you know your worth and your full potential and what you're bringing, anyone who's coming with less than that, you don't have a problem telling them nah.
Yeah, you're good on it.
I'm good. Because at the end of the day, it's too many people out here living their best lives, being their best selves, and there's nothing really that separates what they have from what you could potentially have besides maybe your faith, maybe what you're putting into it, your work ethic. Work ethic is a tough one. It really is, because I know I'm quick to be like, dang, not this person doing X, Y, and Z. But then when I look into their story and realize how much it's taken to do X, Y, and Z, I'm like, it couldn't be me, love.
Yeah.
It could, but
people
why?
want quick success.
You know what I'm saying? It couldn't be you, but why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So again, when you reach your full potential, when you start to tap into yourself, for one, when you become your best self, men notice and men are attracted to that. Let's be real.
Facts.
When you walk into the room and you not checking for anybody, men are checking for you, because they like, why she walk in and she didn't check for me? You know what I'm saying? Especially let it be one that's attractive. Why is she kind of curved me a little bit? Look, let me see what's good with her. Because I know she didn't curve me.
Confidence is attractive.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, when you walk into a room and know what you're worth, and you're not worried about what everybody else has going on in that room, not to say that you're better than, less than, because I mean, again, when you know what you're worth, that comparison game goes out the window.
Yeah, honestly.
So again, in that sense, it's like, be the person you want to attract. I want to attract someone who's confident, who's not really worried about what social media is saying, and, you know, does their own thing, whatever. So if that's the person I expect to attract, I need to be that person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let me tap into being that person. Yeah. Let me tap into the gym. Let me tap into the church. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's tap into these things that I expect to bring about and see what happens. Yeah. And if it doesn't work for you, let me know. Because, I mean, I've heard a lot of success stories. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, truly. Right. I'm like, and those success stories are happening in Hollywood too. Oh my gosh, I love Sierra and Russell Wilson's relationship. I'm sure y'all do. Yeah. You know what Sierra didn't love? Yeah. When y'all were saying she was born with both parts and she was a hermaphrodite. That's what she didn't love. Listen. But you know, when y'all were saying that, she was ignoring it, and now she's walked into her best self. Right. But has she fed into that? Yeah. She'd still be with Future. Yep. You know what I'm saying? She'd still be competing with the rest of his baby mamas for his attention. Sis. If she didn't figure out her worth. Let's be real though. We up here to be real or be fake? Right. No, everything you said was fact. You know what I'm saying? Her analogies are just wow for me. She would be though. She would be out there competing with the rest of them baby mamas for real. Because when you don't know your worth, you compete with baby mamas. I feel like people have a hard time finding their worth when they're not comfortable with being by themselves. Yes. Like not being in the single space. And we talked about that too. Yeah. Even outside of being in the single space, you have people that feel uncomfortable going and eating dinner by themselves. Yeah. What's wrong with you? Like, yeah, I feel like that in and of itself is strange. Y'all go out and eat by yourselves? Yes. Mm-hmm. Because what's like, I like myself. Yeah. I enjoy my company. Yeah. I know what I bring to the table, so when I go and eat by myself, I don't feel like everyone is watching, and if they're watching, let them watch. Yeah. Like, if you find me that interesting and intriguing, come over and take a seat. Like, take my tab. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? You know, but again, people who don't feel that, and that's how you have to feel about yourself, truly. So I was going to say, if you have a hard time being by yourself, how do you think you can be like in a relationship? Because you can't be in a relationship with yourself at the end of the day. So if you can't be in a relationship with yourself, and last I checked, the way a relationship works, you have to be involved in it, right? So if you don't have self-love for yourself, how do you think you're about to be worthy and well enough to be in a good, healthy relationship with somebody else? Again, I feel like at the end of the day, the premise of everything we're getting at is the math needs to math at all times. Exactly. And y'all know how to do math. 1 + 1 = 2. Y'all know the basics. Listen, it's the real basics. It's no trig. It on multiplication. We ain't even doing that. Multiplication, division. We're doing none of those things. It's simple adding and subtracting with numbers no greater than 10 letters. So that's the thing. It's like, again, if you know what you're bringing to the table, you know your worth, you can find, what an equivalent, right? But also think about it, with where I am right now, would I be okay with settling for someone who is my equivalent, who is my equal? And if the answer is no, fix yourself. Yeah. Because realistically, you can't go out here and fix everybody else. Yeah. Take control of the situations you can't control. You have tapped into so many things. This is ragged. This is low-key raggedy for me to say, but you have touched so many things that I literally have tattooed on me. And this is just wild to me because the paths, that's this one. What you just said is the serenity prayer. It's a lot for me. But it's real. Literally. That's the thing. I'm like, again, it's like, you have to think like that.
Yeah.
That's the only way to elevate yourself, to know your worth, to know when someone is your equal, to know when you've met your match, and this, that, and the third. Like, because things aren't going to be perfect. And knowing that things aren't going to be perfect, it's kind of hard to navigate. Like, I know that a relationship isn't going to be perfect, but should I be taking this? Should I accept this?
Yeah.
Should I be working on this? Should I work through this with him? Or should I move on? Like, in order to know these things, you really have to know yourself.
So, that's facts. I was just about to ask, how do you know? Like, as you were formulating that statement, I'm sitting here like, but how do you know what should be a cutoff for something? Like, what should you tolerate versus what you shouldn't? And like you said, only you would know that.
Exactly.
Only you would know what you would put up with. Because a lot of times from the outside looking in, we see other people in messy ass relationships putting each other through hell. And we always say the same, like, that can never be me. Exactly. I would never be that person. But then again, just because you don't have like certain, what's the word I'm looking for? Certain,
non-negotiable.
Yeah, like deal breakers or whatever that you're not willing to move past or whatever doesn't mean that someone else, everyone's different.
Yeah.
Like, they may be willing to put up with more. They have the word I was looking for was tolerance.
Yes.
They're able to tolerate more than you are, which is why they're in that relationship. That's their situation. That's none of my business.
Yeah. But also be mindful of what you put your mouth on, because again, I don't know about y'all, but I worship a comedic God. Okay, so he loves to throw some comedy in some things. So let me be that. Like, that could never be me, and watch it be me.
Me? Oh my gosh.
Because the Lord be like, bro, you heard. Look, splash. Okay? And then next thing you know, it's you. And your two homegirls. Y'all going through.
Now you feeling so goofy.
Because all y'all was laughing at the table. I thought that could never be. And look at y'all navigating through it.
Right.
Pushing through.
And then you got them people that once you're in it, you're people that really love and care for you, be like, yo, what are you doing? Mind your business. Let me live in my stupid in peace.
But the sad thing is, for me personally, I can look at any of my homegirls and be like, but it was you though too, wasn't it? Don't try to jump on me, because wasn't it you? Ain't y'all making it work? I promise you. But again, like, you can't come for people's non-negotiables, because we were all different. Yeah. We were all meant to tolerate different things. Yeah. We were all meant to be different people in different lives. Yes. In different people's lives. And so with that being the case, it's like, that's a hard thing to say. Oh yeah, it couldn't be me. Why not? Yeah. What separates you from the next person truly? Yeah. What is it? Because in the Lord's eyes, it's nothing. Yeah.
Sis.
I'm like, you can look through it again. If you continue to look through things using your lens and your lens only, most of the world isn't going to make sense. Nope. Most of the world is going to be unfair. Yep. And Christians, black ones especially, boy, we quick to be like, favor ain't fair. Quick to say it. Let that parking spot open up for me and me alone. Favor is not fair. And it isn't. It isn't. Yo. But we never really, we don't like for it to work out not in our favor. Because now favor ain't fair for this person. And it doesn't apply to you anymore. Right? That it seems like a saying that applies in some instances and not others. But it's because of how we interpret it. Yeah. Favor ain't fair. Like, oh, because I went up to you, it's because favor isn't fair. Rather than thinking about the fact that, no, we all have favor over our lives, and because of that, life isn't fair. Things are going to happen to you in life that don't seem fair because there's favor over everyone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, even though you can't see it or understand why this person has favor, that this, that, and the third, it was never meant for us to understand. Yeah. So in that sense, it's like, I feel like that's a quote from the Bible that we tend to misuse, and misusing it, we kind of disappoint ourselves. Like, dang, Lord, I thought favor wasn't fair. And he's like, yeah. That's like, yes, it isn't. So when you like life seeming unfair, go back to that same quote you was just using. Like, favor isn't fair. That's why life isn't fair. Because we all have a favor over ourselves, because again, the Lord sees all of us as equals. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, especially when you know you're not someone who's differentiating yourself from the next person in the amount of time you read your Bible. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because then you start moving up in the rankings when it comes to favor. But you right here, you at that 5%. You want 5% or like we already know how that go.
Right.
It ain't fair.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. So I feel like we've touched on so much.
So much. And we literally just
much.
hit an hour.
So much.
I literally told my good sis, she showed up today, with this being her first episode.
Yeah,
she was like, how does this go? I was like, bruh, I'm telling you, I come up with a topic, and 9 times out of 10, I spring it up on my people too. I'm not going to lie to you. So for those
he pressed start, and then we was
because like she asked me 2 seconds before I hit start. She said, "What's the conversation for today?" I said, we're going to start with one, and it's always going to end up over here. Yeah. It never fails. And here we are, an hour into the episode.
Yep.
We started out talking about, are you worthy of the things you asked for?
Yeah.
And without us even pressing the topic or the issue, our faith kept popping up throughout the entire episode, which honestly is pretty... It's pretty raggedy that we keep talking about this, and we've been sipping on tequila the whole episode.
Though, again, I did do the disclaimer in the beginning where it's like we are operating at 5%.
We're works in progress,
I feel like
okay?
At the end of the day, again, like, I'm bringing the Bible right back into it because this is my favorite quote. This is actually what I've been living by and what I've been needing to live by to, get through day to day.
Yeah.
Is God is not calling the qualified. He's qualifying the called, right? And so it has never been about you becoming this perfect person or this great Christian or any of these things.
Right.
It's about just creating a space between you and God for him to use you exactly where you're at.
Right.
We are being used with where we're at, drinking tequila, doing the same stuff y'all as viewers are doing and letting you know there's nothing that's truly separating us. Right? If you can fix up here, if you can fix your mindset and start to walk in that, though, think about what would separate us.
What I'm
saying? Think about if in season 3 we sipping on water, what I'm saying, and we got the book in front of us. Think about how life would look then. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, again, tap into the world you want to create. Tap into the life that you claim that you want to have. Right. Because we're all capable of it. Right. It's nothing that really separates us from the people who are ministering to others. Right. And he's going to use somebody at every stage to minister to people right where they at. Right. This is where we are.
You know what's so crazy?
Where you are.
So y'all, like, dead. Oh, I feel bad for saying dead ass, but we already said we're works in progress. Okay. So it's that, bro. What is so funny? So it was around the time that your dad hadn't passed yet. It was like sometime before that when everyone came up to see him the first time. So like my grandfather is a retired pastor. So I'll never forget. Now, my grandfather has never like force fed me and anybody in our family to like come behind him and like, when he retires, find someone to replace him essentially, right? But what was so crazy, I remember we were sitting at the table one day and my grandfather says, you're going to be in my shoes one day, right? And I was like, me? a whole me? I'm like, this... As much as I drink and do hood rat things, and if you follow my vlogs, you see I love hood rat festivities. Same. They are. I'm in a chokehold.
This can't be the same one from the vlog.
Yes.
This can't be the same cousin.
Right. So then look. All that being said, I'm like, and the first thing when he said that, I was like, really? He's like, yeah. And I looked down at my tattoos. I'm looking like, I drink. Like, you probably only can imagine all the other stuff I'm doing when you're not around. So I'm like, you think I'm worthy enough to be doing what you were doing?
But think about it this way. It's like, I can only speak for myself.
Right.
I'm not watching no minister that ain't been through nothing. That has never walked in the same shoes.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if not, who is going to minister to these regular people? That's who being ministered to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're not a regular person, how do you expect to relate to? Yeah. And, actually tap into the heart of regular. It's like, I want someone preaching to me that has walked the same path that I have walked.
That part.
Who is able to get up there and say, bro, this was not always me. Yeah. Because I'm like, if it was always you, I'm probably not going to hear it because I cannot relate.
Yeah, that part.
I can't.
That part.
But like, all looking for something relatable.
But like, to get into that piece or whatever, it's crazy because I'm like, I was looking at it like, the only way you can minister is in a church setting. But it all came full circle because like once I kicked off the podcast, I was like, that's so crazy that as I was gearing up to launch season 1, he told me that like when season 1 was in the works. And I'm like, once I started it and certain conversations were taking place on the platform or whatever, I'm like, yo, maybe this is the ministry he was talking about. I'm just on some street stuff. Yeah. But like you said, like this is the way a lot of people will relate to it. Exactly. So that's crazy.
What's going to get people to watch. Yeah. Get people to tap in, because I know for a fact, anybody that knows us, anyone who knows us did not expect the podcast to be like this.
No, at all.
Like, I know y'all not up here talking about.
Listen, it's been so much feedback I've gotten that's like, yo, especially with certain guests, a lot of guests have surprised people. Like, for instance, like to be transparent, like my brother was on the episode. Everybody that saw his episode said, I did not expect that out of him, but I'm like, truly, if you really knew him, though, it really shouldn't have surprised you that came out of him, though. Exactly. You know, but like, I'm telling you, people really transform when this light turn on. Okay. People get in front of here and at first think they're going to be nervous and get up here, and before they know it, the episode done wrapped up, and they're like, wow, yo, we did that,
like that's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Yeah, like, wow, because I was saying I'm nervous.
Yeah, everybody. Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm
so nervous. Am I going to be able to talk? Am I going to be able to keep it real in front of this camera? Because we have conversations like this all the time.
All the time.
This was honestly a repeat, really, of a conversation we've already had.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, bruh, we got to like literally, because like me and you already talked about you doing an episode, and I was like, but what are we going to discuss? And that moment, I feel like, again, I'm a person, I don't believe in coincidence. Everything in my eyes, God makes happen for a reason. So, like, when we had the conversation where it was just the two of us in the Applebee's, when it was pretty empty and we were talking about some deep-rooted stuff, I was like, this is what we need to have on that podcast. Yeah. Which is why this conversation is playing out the way it is. And we actually still, although this is kind of not really a new topic for us, we still brought up new things amongst this discussion that we didn't tap into during our restaurant conversation.
Because it's so easy to really like, this relates to this, that relates to this, that, you know, like all of these things. Because really we started out talking about dudes approaching me at the bar. How to approach somebody at the bar.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying?
From an icebreaker moment. And here we are again.
And here we are. Like, but again, that's the thing. And I feel like that's really what life should look like. How things typically unfold. It should just be, it should be fruitful. It should be natural. It wasn't awkward trying to bring up a conversation we already had before. Like, again, bringing new things into it from different, you know, because that happened a while ago. So many things have happened within both of our lives where it's like, we could start there, but add to it and build on it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's my thing. And anything that you have going on, make it like, be intentional about making it, how is this benefiting my life? And if it's not, you know, move on from that. You know what I'm saying? With relationships, with friendships, because really you could circle this whole thing back around and throw friendships instead of relationships, and the same thing applies. That part. You know what I'm saying? Or, again, circle it all the way back around and speak on your relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Because he's bringing his 50% to the table. That you don't have to worry about. We be so pressed like, dang, like, I'm trying to make this relationship work and they not bringing their 50%. But you have a relationship that's available to you. That you know for a fact is bringing their 50%. And you still don't tap into it. Now, that's you being a clown. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's only so much, you know, that can be done to really get you to that point. So I feel like we touched on some solid things, some necessary things, and what you take from it is what you take from it.
Listen, take what's for you, leave what isn't.
Leave what isn't. It's gonna be for the next person. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, any person, whether you're in a relationship, not in a relationship, you know, can take something from this. Because in any relationship, you can do better. You can give more. I don't know anyone who's operating at their max capacity.
Facts.
Truly.
You rarely do.
Like I don't actually think it's possible to, you know what I'm saying? So like, in that sense, it's like you can always grow and be better. So what are you going to do from this to grow and be better? That's on you. So
I feel like we should end it there.
I feel like we should wrap this thing up. If you know, especially with, you know, like me personally, I'm not, the sermon was 2.5 hours. I watched an hour of it. You know what I'm saying?
That
so
part.
it's like sometimes you gotta just compact it so that people take it in and
that
didn't
part.
make it too long. Definitely could have listened to the whole thing.
Definitely.
I know gems were said. Okay.
Plenty was said, and if you didn't pick up on it, that's because you chose not to.
That's because you chose not to, but you heard it.
But you know what? Maybe it wasn't for you at that time, but later it'll become relevant and it'll bring you back to this moment. Because again, we don't live by coincidence here.
Exactly.
You heard this for a reason.
Exactly.
It may not be relevant to your situation now. It will be later.
Yep. Exactly.
So, with that being said, again, we're going to leave it here.
Yes.
Because clearly we can talk about this forever.
And maybe we'll come back with a part 2.
That's what I was about to say. If y'all really,
if you got some questions, like all
hit
of those
us up,
things,
please.
So we can come back with
We
a
will
part 2.
absolutely do this again because I will say, with this being second season, all my episodes are flying by like this.
Yeah.
It's like before I know it, I glance up, I'm like, damn, we've been talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to be cut off for an hour. Like right now, we're over an hour.
Yeah.
But as she said, so much was said in this bit of time.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm open. We're open
Yeah.
to continuing the conversation.
Exactly.
But
if
it's up to
have
you guys.
something more centered, if it's like, okay, I have a specific situation, speak on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do that.
Right.
Because we spoke very general.
Right.
But
very.
sometimes it's hard to put yourself in that general box when you have a very specific situation.
That part.
So let us know. You know, what did you like? What did you not like?
That's
what
the
did
part
you
in the
relate to
comments
and
that
not
the
relate
comment
to?
section is there for a reason, you guys. Utilize it.
You know what I'm saying?
That part. I like the
and
DMs.
get more of what you like to hear.
I like the DMs I get every once in a while, but to get true conversations and get more input would be dope. So hit us up in the comments.
Yep.
I'm going to put my good cousin's info in the description so y'all can follow sis and her hood rat festivities. Because our hood rat festivities are on different levels.
And they are. But when we link, they be on.
As you see.
Maybe on 10,000. So I know we was very wholesome and stuff in this conversation because we needed to be. But again, if you want to see me stumble and fall, you could be a part of that as well. It's going to happen.
You'll get all parts of us.
Like, she did all of that. How she be living on the regular? You'll see.
Yes.
Just like you.
Yes.
If not worse.
And you see how I am in my vlogs. And if you follow me on Instagram, I've been chilling on Instagram for a little bit.
Yeah.
Now that I started the vlogs.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got some stuff lined up in the future. So you guys will again see that raggedy side of me outside of this. But yeah, so sis, again, wrap this up. So thank you, sis. We're definitely coming back for a part 2.
Thank you. Yeah, we have to come
no
back
matter
for
what the
part
people
2.
say about that.
Yeah, y'all say what y'all want to say, but
right.
regardless.
The Lord is working through us. He told us to come back for a second one, so that's what y'all gonna get.
Come back for part 2, so it's already in the works.
We already know. But again, I'm gonna put all my good sis info in the description. Again, do me a solid. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you tune in, if this is your first time tuning into an episode in general, do me a solid. Go back and rewind that thing back all the way to season 1.
Yeah.
And then come back. And binge watch. Yep. We know y'all binge watch Netflix. Do the same thing for me.
Exactly.
Come on, bro.
You're going to be in the car, headed to work.
Listen.
Listen. Like, come on.
That's what the podcast is for. You don't have to necessarily see us. We like that too. Yeah. But long as you get the message here, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Now, with that being said, y'all stay blessed now. And what we're going to leave y'all with is we want y'all contributions as far as your percentage of what y'all add into relationships. Let it level up a little bit.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If nothing else, bring more than 5%. We're going to challenge ourselves to do the same.
We're going to try to do 10.
Yeah.
By the time y'all see us again, we're going to tell y'all we hit 10%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we could look at God and say we had 10%.
We had 10%.
You know what I'm saying? So
okay.
Let's do that. That's what we're going to work on.
That's
our
all
mission.
of us going to do.
Okay. And that should be your mission too. You know, you don't have to do it alone. We in it with you.
That part.
Yep.
So that being said, till next time, deuces.
Thank you for tuning in to Sip on This with a Pair.